when you looked at the way that the table was, you would think that Mnuchin's going to leave because he's next to the president. But I think the most important point was he said, listen, the president's going to lead. And the president seems to like to enjoy this tension between the Mnuchin camp and the Navarro camp. He seems to like it. Now, as a judge in The Apprentice, not to be too reality-oriented, but that's what he liked.
Right.
Like pitting people together and then making the final decision. And a lot of times he was a little mercurial about who he fired.
So what are the next 3 months going to be like market-wise?
We come in every day.
Reacting to every headline or every report in terms of this happened or that, or the negotiations, good, bad, indifferent, this is going well, that's not going well?
Yeah, well, American Express gets a call, and it says, listen, we've been sitting on your request for, 14 years? You're green-lighted. I know it sounds silly. Caterpillar gets a giant order. Deere gets a giant order. These are things that would say, we're for real. If they don't in the next 3 months, then we know they're not for real.
Well, but they could have make the agreement in the next 3 months, and then those things will happen after the agreement, if in fact they reach one.
Right, but I'm saying for the stock market, if you're going to be up this much, you need to see some concrete orders and deals.
Yeah, and to that point, Mnuchin did say that, curious, he said we will know pretty early on whether or not this new framework is going to work.
Well, let's hope they don't do something like the NXPI, which say, listen, we're going to buy your natural gas. Natural gas is sold out. That doesn't do anything. That's just, again, window dressing. I mean,
we all know that buying more of our stuff is not the key consideration here. It's truly the structural reforms in terms of opening up their market in a real way to competition, to not forcing technology transfers, to cutting out the cyber espionage if it's possible to get them to do that. It's those things that I think are more difficult to imagine the Chinese truly saying yes to and getting to a final agreement.
Yeah, Eunice Yu with a terrific report this morning saying that they didn't talk on the media there about technology transfer and hacking. Well, of course, they don't even admit they do any of these things. So I would love to hear an actual admittance. Listen, we've been doing some things that we're going to stop. And that would be significant because, look, the Navarro camp's not about trade. The Mnuchin camp's about trade. The Navarro camp is about the 2025 initiative to be able to pass us and to make them a world power that's equal to us. The Mnuchin view is, hey, let's get some stuff bought and maybe let Visa in there. Right. One is very limited. One is very more serious. So
the sell side's out this morning with some levels, 2,800, 2,875. I mean, at what point does the market get in front of its skis here on these headlines?
Look, we need a strong enough. We have to, now that we're past this, it's going to be focused on the non-farm payroll, and you want the non-farm payroll to show less than 3% wage growth and some tempering in some places, and then you want Powell to put through his. You need the quarter point in order to be able to make it so that he lives up to that aspect. But then you have to have a statement, a conference where he just basically says, listen, we're really close, not just close, as opposed to being far. And that would make it so that you would go back and to think, okay, we got another reason to buy. So there's like, here you buy, and then there's the wise guys who bought Friday and Thursday sell it off. And then you get a decent number that allows you to think a little more Goldilocks. You get the Fed rate increase, and then you've got a lot of people who will start saying maybe 2019 is not going to be the end of the world. So we need all those things to go. I've got a solution about what to do. I had Dollar Tree on last week. Okay? Dollar Tree said that most of the retailers have built in that the tariffs are going to go to 25% in the first quarter. So therefore, most of the analysts have taken numbers down. And that was one of the reasons why the retailers traded so badly. Those can go back up and stay up for a bountiful holiday season because the stock market didn't kill them. The only thing that we got to watch housing prices because I think that they're coming down rather rapidly.
Although we got upgrade of Masco today.
I know that's $600 million in China, the business from China, $90 million in tariff. That's a very good example of something substantive that could be better. Dollar General, which reports this week, Five Below, which report this week. Those are all kind of interesting now that we know that they're not going to be scrambling and they have 3 more months to find, I don't know, the toys that end up in the landfills.
Right. But, in respect, I got it. Yeah, the toys in the landfills, right, which is true. That's most of where the stuff we buy from China ends up. in our landfills.
Right,
And or we ship it back to them to recycle it for us. Although they're not doing that as much anymore, and our recycling in this country actually is taking a hit as a result of them not taking
That's why waste management is so high.
I was just thinking back to last Monday, though, when we were sitting here talking about Powell and whether and what we're going to get and what trade. And the answer for the market on both fronts, at least right now, was positive.
And that's why this rally, look, there's going to be wise guys who fade it. I mean, right now there are people who are saying, I get to sell Apple higher than I deserve. Now, I say own Apple and trade it because it's 12 times. But can you imagine how many people want to so-called fade Apple? I mean, there's guys who are saying, oh, I can punch it. You know, I don't know if Apple's the box or the bag here, David.
Boxer or the bag? Interesting. Yeah.
That's,
I got it.
who?
How about,
I don't know.
how do you think all
I
of this
just got the illusion. I don't know who.
out of Argentina, does it affect Powell's thinking? The fact that we've theoretically may have averted
I think that Powell is still going to put through. I mean, I think Powell's got his bases covered because it's a quarter point. And because it's a quarter point, he gets to have that. He can say, hey, listen, even though we're ready, they delayed it for 3 months, we're putting through the quarter point, and then we're going to wait. I think people are still thinking that it's two hikes next year, not 3.
Strategas today says neither Powell nor G20 really steepened the curve, and they point to 2s, 10s. But it's not like that got crazy steep in the wake of these 2 big macro risks being taken off.
It didn't. What you need to see is mortgage rates peak. They've been going up, while housing prices gone down. Sales, typically, this is really the beginning of a huge rollover. Redfin talked about sales being down 20% out west. I mean, that would be amazing. Does it say that Eddie Vedder did that song? Is that what you're looking at?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Eddie Vedder song? No, you know, our systems are down across the board here. It's a bit disconcerting, sorry.
Not for me.
So I have to consult my phone for all things right now.
Oh, okay, just because I figured you were giving that song a Google.
I was not looking up boxer or bag.
Carl knew it.
Carl knows all that stuff.
He knew Pearl Jam. Carl, I mean, I just discovered Pearl Jam.
I'm a little surprised that you're quoting Pearl Jam. Yeah.
That's just who you talk about when you're really trying to make a point.
One last thing, the president did tweet about auto tariffs, about China cutting tariffs on cars from the U.S. into China. No sort of depth on that or confirmation.
No, but people are buying GM on it.
And we'll get auto sales today.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that Tesla is the winner. But now that I said that, people regarding me as endorsing Tesla. Tesla is sales. We don't know how much sales are
dropped
down.
dramatically. You can imagine a 40% tariff dissuades people from buying a new automobile when it's made in the United States.
You're dead right.
Yeah.
You are so right.